To President Trump and his cabinet,
Yes.
I am not afraid of you.
Columbia University student and Palestinian activist Mohsen, who was arrested by U.S. immigration authorities on April 14th, was released from custody on April 30th after wide-ranging calls from Democrats and activists. McCoy, who has permanent U.S. residency or green card status, was detained by U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement (ICE) agents when he turned up at an American citizenship interview in Vermont, sending a message to U.S. President Donald Trump after his release from federal custody. Mahdaw said, "I am not afraid of you."
We will not fear anyone because our fight is a fight for love, is a fight for democracy, is a fight for humanity. And I am saying it clear and loud.
Yes.
To President Trump and his cabinet,
Yes.
I am not afraid of you.
Vermont District Judge Jeffrey Crawford ordered Mahda's release after denying a request from government lawyers to delay it by 7 days. The U.S. government says he was undermining U.S. foreign policy. The government argues they can remove Mahdaw from the country under the Immigration and Nationality Act. That's because Secretary of State Marco Rubio says his presence and activities would have serious adverse foreign policy consequences and would compromise a compelling U.S. foreign policy interest. Malawi's legal team had petitioned for his release, alleging unlawful incarceration. Luna Ruby, one of his lawyers, argued that the arrest was in direct retaliation for his advocacy on behalf of Palestinians and because of his identity as a Palestinian, in a statement after his release. Mrs. Ruby stated that the claims against him are baseless and a disgrace to the U.S. Constitution. She added she was relieved my diary had been released and vowed to keep fighting until Mohsen is free for good. Tricia McLaughlin, an assistant secretary at the Department of Homeland Security, responded after his release, saying, "No, Judge, not this one or another is going to stop the Trump administration from restoring the rule of law to our immigration system." Mahdaw thanked supporters outside the courtroom, saying, "I'm saying it clear and loud."
I'm saying it clear and loud.
Yes.
To President Trump and his cabinet,
Yes.
I am not afraid of you. Never give up on the idea that justice will prevail and that we have to come together to bring our voices and our hearts and raise them, not only for America, not only for this system of democracy that has checks and balances, and this court is part of it, but also for our humanity. We have to restore and reform the international order and abide by international law as a first step towards justice. What is happening now is a light of hope. Justice Crawford, who ruled to release me against all of the heinous accusations, horrible attacks, chills of speech, First Amendment violations, he has made a very brave decision to let me out, and this is what justice is. And for anybody who's doubting justice, this is a light of hope, a hope and faith in the justice system in America.
Mahdaw, born and raised in a refugee camp in the West Bank, was arrested in April upon arriving for an interview for his U.S. citizenship petition. A judge swiftly ordered President Donald Trump's administration not to deport him from the United States or take him out of the state of Vermont. After 2 weeks in detention, Mahdaw walked out of the federal courthouse in Burlington. His crime? He had organized campus protests at Columbia until March 2024 and co-founded the school's Palestinian Student Union with Mahmoud Khalil, another Palestinian permanent resident of the U.S. and graduate student who was arrested in March. Madeley's release allows him to travel outside his home state of Vermont and attend graduation next month in New York. He recently completed coursework at Columbia and planned to begin a master's degree program there in the fall. The Ivy League university has faced criticism from some students for agreeing to implement a host of policy changes demanded by the Trump administration after Madeley's release. School spokesperson Molly Wirt said every person in the country deserves due process regardless of their citizenship status. Madeley's release marks a setback for the Trump administration's efforts to deport pro-Palestinian foreign university students, even though other students remain in jail. More than 1,000 college students nationwide have had their visas revoked or their legal status terminated since late March, according to an Associated Press review. The federal government has since announced it will reverse the termination of legal status for international students after many filed court challenges by several prominent politicians, including independent Senator Bernie Sanders, who represents Vermont, have spoken out in support of Madeley after Mahdawy's release. Senator Sanders said that he was delighted that Mohsen had been released from detention. I am delighted that Mr. Mohsen has been released from immigration detention in Vermont, in the United States of America. A legal permanent resident cannot and must not be incarcerated with absolutely no charges leveled against them. Expressing a political opinion about the war in Gaza is not a crime in America. You should not be put in a jail cell for exercising your First Amendment rights. Sadly, all of this is part of the Trump administration's effort to move us in an authoritarian direction. This decision today is a step forward in protecting our Constitution, protecting due process, and protecting our fundamental rights. A huge crowd of Vermonters also swayed alongside Mohsen after he was freed, singing "We Shall Overcome" by